Vin,
I'm sorry.
if you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get matched down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. The child shall lead them.
Yes, indeed. Uh-oh.
What?
My folks. Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. Moving right along. Okay.
This is the full English breakfast, as you can see there. As you can see here, dear listener, we have a series of flags. We have Greece. We have Deutschland, otherwise known as Germany. Russia, otherwise known as Russia. And France, otherwise known as France. And they're in friendly competition. It's a battle of the bands, European style. Okay? Nothing crazy. Okay? Don't get all crazy. Don't get all political. But we got battle band. So far, we listened to a band named Yoth Iria, I think is the name of the band. They
under
were awesome.
his sway.
Right now, they're at number
Imperium,
1.
You know what? Read this, babe.
It looks like Imperium Decadence, and they're from Germany. They're
Only
from
Fragments of
Deutschland.
Light is the name of the band. I mean, the name of the song.
Wait,
the
say that
country
again?
is Germany. Only Fragments of Light.
Okay.
The country is Germany. The label is Seasons of Mist. The genre is black metal. Imperium Dekadenz, hailing from Germany and formed in 2005. Imperium Dekadenz have released 6 albums on multiple labels, including Perverted Taste, Season of Mist, and Napalm Records. This track, Only Fragments of Light, comes from the 2016 album Dis Men of This on Seasons of Mist. Great band. We shall see and make an opinion of our own.
As if you didn't know, Tina is our resident metal historian.
Also, the best cook in the village.
For sure.
Actually, this is not a meal that she cooked.
She set up Thanksgiving one
I
time
don't
for
believe
us.
that she cooked this meal. I saw a sandwich that she made, and she posted it on Instagram. And I said, you know what? I, too, shall try to replicate that sandwich. And I post-haste went downstairs, cooked the nastiest sandwich, and decided I should have just had her ship me one.
And we've got Daniel Montgomery in the house.
And yes, she helped us with Thanksgiving. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. It's true. It's called the full English breakfast, and then we've got the European Union down here, which Britain is no longer part of the European Union. So there's that. Okay. Let's go. Imperium Decadence, German band. Let's do it.
Go.
that was Deutschland. The name of that band from Deutschland was Imperium Decadence.
Only Fragments of Light.
Only Fragments of Light. And I think I have the basic gist of what the homie was trying to say.
Oh, okay.
But you were telling me you wanted some female vocals in
yeah,
this
I definitely.
joint.
I
this
said it in the
jaunt.
stream. I really felt like it needed some. I think that would have taken it to the next level. Also, I think that there was parts of it where I felt like the chanting was in there, and I really liked that. I just felt like it needed. There was like one section more, I guess, toward the middle to beginning where there was just like the instruments, and I felt like if it had some like eerie female vocals just kind of like rising up eerily with the chanting happening in the background, it would have been a really cool layering there.
Ah, shit.
It's my
Not
opinion.
everybody has a
But
girl in their band, you
I'm
weirdo.
not that. That can be.
Rent it out.
You can get one. I mean, there's lots of women sing, and some men sound like women. So there's that
Continue.
too. Yeah. So that was kind of like my take on that, and you know, the vocal style is not really my thing, so it would have really needed that for me. But let's hear your take, and then talk to me about these lyrics.
There were some abrupt rhythm changes in the song, which I love. But I usually do not like rhythm changes that don't have a little bridge to them.
Okay.
I think Tool is probably the best at this, where like the rhythm will change completely and you'll have no idea until it's too late. Until it's too
That
late.
is true. They do that. Yeah.
You know, sometimes when they're abrupt, I'm like, okay. Sonically, I like the Grecian band better. Lyrically, obviously, this had a lot more to play with than the previous band. And again, I'm not, you know, the Battle Band things is kind of, we're just having fun with it. But so it says, poison falls the time down to the depths of the unknown with crippled might, and every kind of stanza had something where I was like, I like the antinomy between crippled might and potency. Mm-hmm. So like you had this power and it's crippled somehow.
Yeah.
Rankling the soul. So like, again, this is more like internal, just like the other one was like Silent Hill. I interpret that internally. This one, crippled might and potency, rankling the soul. Lost in an undertow, an abysmal fall, anchorless down to the unlighted home. Mm-hmm. Like that feeling where
anchorless
like
down to the
you're
unlighted
really like
home.
going crazy.
Yep.
And you're like really like you're spinning
out.
They were doing this Apple Watch commercial, and I still don't know how I feel about the commercial, but it was actual people calling from their Apple Watches, and one of them was this kid. He was out in the surf, and he just
I know, that was crazy.
Sent out to sea, and he's like, "Yo, I'm in a lot of trouble here.
Help me." Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they rescued him because he was able to talk on his Apple Watch, and of course, if he had he'd be in a lot of trouble if he didn't have his watch on him.
Yep.
But you can actually make phone calls from your watch. Shout out to Apple. Mm-hmm. I haven't had that feeling in a very, very long time until last year, where somebody tried to take Sayla's bike, and Dorian did exactly what he was taught, and he manned up and he stood up for his sister, and dude wanted to fight, so Dorian fought honorably as he was taught, and he put the kid in a blender as he was taught, and the dude bitched out and took up a stick and like went after Dorian, and so I show up and he's got all these blotches on his back. I mean, it was horrible. It looked like the Passion of the Christ, like the first round when they were, when they were doing the flagellation thing. I mean, it looked really, really bad. And I lost my freaking mind. I lost my mind. So I jumped in there and I went to find those dudes. Mm-hmm. And I turned the corner, and thank God all of them were really big. So I was like, okay, good. Because I honestly said thank God, because I was like, okay, because what I'm about to do to these motherfuckers now, I don't have to feel anything about anything. So I was just completely anchorless. Like I was completely out of my. It was like an outer body experience. It was you kind of like, and you know, Dorian. Dorian in the moment was parenting me.
Yep.
Like he's like, Father, it's not. No, this isn't right. You can't do this. Da, da, da. And like, I was insane. And it was crazy because I reverted back to like even like before you met me, like New York shit. Like, I was like, what's good, bitch? I'm in your face, bitch. Pussy, do something, pussy. Blah. All this kind of crazy shit, man. And then basically the kids.
I wish it would have been the actual kid because they were just people that were around that didn't do anything.
Wasn't there. The dude
right.
was like after he was gone, and they were like, yo man, it wasn't me. Whatever. But I was like completely out of my mind. Then I jumped in the car.
I was mad because there was another kid there that claimed to be Dorian's friend.
Man.
And I get that he was scared, but I don't understand that level of cowardice. Like, how are you just going to stand there holding Dorian's glasses instead of going there and helping? Do something. Like, no, it's like so unlikely that somebody would die. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get bruised because the kid's got a stick. But, like, get in there.
Yeah, but that's why you do the jujitsu and the fighting and all that.
Well, that's the thing. I was talking to a mother just, the other day, and she was saying how she's been, having to really work with her oldest son about violence because he's been getting violent with the younger kids. And I'm like, well, that's not good. And then I was explaining to them, like, you have to teach your sons to be men. And I said, look, the violence that was going on was my son was protecting one of the other kids because their bike got stolen. Like, it wasn't even that other kid was getting hurt. It was just that somebody took their bike, and he protected her and got the bike back. And
I was infuriated. I was completely rudderless.
He had gone to get his haircut and Dorian showed up.
I was in the car. It was crazy because it was insane. I was like driving around looking for people like back in the day. And I'm like, yo, is that the dudes that I saw? I saw a guy my age. I'm like, yo, is that the guy's father? Completely irrational. Yeah. Because the guy had never been there before. Because if it was, I was going to jump.
Yeah.
He's like.
You wanted it to be.
Dorian's like, Father, he's gone. Let it go. And he put his hand on my shoulder. Now, he's 15, 16
at the time. He was 15 at the time, yeah.
I'm like a grown man. I've been teaching him everything, teaching him the way of Christ. I was completely out of my mind. So when it says lost in an undertone, an abysmal fall, anchorless down to the unlighted home, like that's what I was thinking about. Like I was completely consumed by my dark self. Yeah. Completely. Yeah. And I have no idea what I would have done. I have no idea what I would have done. But I was like, and it was crazy because the Lord said to me, like, you don't want your son to suffer the wounds of Christ?
Nope. No, I don't.
It was more like a statement, like, and I was like, hell no. That's good for your son. That's not going to happen to mine. Like, people going to die, bro. And like, I was just completely like, but it really gave me a lot of insight because you always think you're a certain place. Mm-hmm. You always think that you're like at some level, especially if you're a person who's focused on self-improvement, whether it's physical self-improvement, mental, spiritual. Like you always think that you're there, and it doesn't take a lot to like completely send you off, crazy. What was the name of this song? Fragments of Light was the name of this song?
Yep. Only Fragments of Light.
Only Fragments of Light. Yeah, it really didn't take me. In the thorny grove, silence steals a heart. Rage chases the cold spurs to a shimmering light so pure.
I gotta say one more thing. I know like a couple people in the chat and stuff have been like, they kind of feel with the kid that didn't do anything. And saying, I think that like cowardice is it's a privilege of like certain people, depending on your upbringing, like if you're sheltered in certain ways or protected in certain ways, and you're never put in a situation where where you have to protect somebody else or whatever. So maybe you're always the protected and, you know, your parents are always whatever. Like, I think that kids have to be in a situation where, you know, whether it's jujitsu or doing something that gets them in a situation where physical contact and teams and stuff are important, and they understand the importance of that, because when push comes to shove, you don't want your kid to be fearful to handle things that need to be handled. And you know, Dorian, you know, he was around a certain spot and there was a woman that was getting abused, really. And he ran over there so fast. Now, as his mother, I panicked. I mean, I would have wanted Vin to, you know, be there faster, but you were farther away. So you made it there seconds after he did. But I was so proud of Dorian for going over there and getting involved in the situation. Even though I was terrified as a mother, I was still so proud of him for going there to protect somebody else. And he's got that, like, that is not his nature. Like, I'm Dorian's stepmother, so I can see him through different. He's a golden boy. You know what I mean? You just love him start to finish. He's not my blood son, so it's easier for me to say that is not in that boy's nature to stand up and put himself in harm's way for somebody else. But he has developed as a person, and he has included that in himself as a person, and he has developed himself as a person enough to say it is necessary that I as a man get involved when someone weaker than me, be it a woman or a child or a girl, is being harmed. I'm going to get in the way of that, and I'm going to protect. And that, to me, see, if somebody is born with a sort of energy to them that makes it natural for them to get involved, like they're looking for opportunities to get violent, they're looking for opportunities to come in contact with people, that to me is not as honorable as what Dorian has done, because Dorian, it's not his nature. He would much rather just, you know, be at home with his glasses and his computer and spreadsheets and, you know, crunching numbers and doing the things that he does best. But he put himself in that situation because he saw his little sister needed his help, or that woman needed his help. So, you know, cowardice is something that I think that lots of us face in different ways and in different forms and in different circumstances. But we all have to develop ourselves to be the better people in humanity that say, okay, I'm willing to put myself and my safety to the side for the sake of somebody else, especially if it's somebody else that's weaker than me, because I've been blessed with a certain level of strength or whatever. So, you know, I don't think that it's good to have, obviously, you know, this other child that I was talking about earlier is never put in any team sports. It's never put in any situation where they would get, you know, jujitsu or any sort of physical contact. And now he's taking his physical strength out on people that are smaller and weaker than him. That's a problem. So I'm like,
yeah, and
you know.
and like again, I mean, the thing that got me was just it's the internalized looking at everybody. You know, I agree with Vlad. Like you want to believe that you're at a certain place, but then those situations draw that out
Absolutely.
of you and they expose like what you are and where you actually are. And for some people, it's anger and just this ridiculous Neanderthalic default to violence, which, you know, I've struggled with my entire life. And you can make, oh, it's all I've seen, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've seen violence from a very, very young age. But you know who else has? So is my older brother, so is my younger brother, and none of them are like that. Mm-hmm. So you have to take account. That's me. That's a me problem. It's my issues. And even Dorian, like, he put his hands on me. He says, he just stopped, man. Like, he didn't tell me I was wrong, because he would never do that. I mean, he should, but he never will. I mean, hopefully as he matures, you know, he'll be able to. But he was just basically like, enough, man. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's really him and Jesus, like, just the Father, just completely like, shut it down. Mm-hmm. Like, this is your ego. You're upset that somebody would dare to put the wounds of Christ on your son. Like, he bore them honorably. Like, let the man have his honor and just leave it as it is.
I think he was proud.
Yeah, just leave it.
Because he really, I mean, like, he protected.
It was a beautiful family moment. Johan was crying.
Really, yeah.
Zoe was like, I should have been there, you know, whatever. But it doesn't matter what it is. Like, everybody has that thing, whether you're struggling with chemical addiction, you know, sex addiction, whatever it is, where you feel like you've crested a hill and then you run into a situation, because I had run into a situation the previous year with Zoe, but I reasoned to myself, well, that's my daughter. Any dude's going to do that for his daughter. But then it's like, okay, well, here.
then what about your son?
You have the same problem, man.
Yep.
Like, you have a problem.
Right. Right.
Period.
Right.
You have a problem.
And it was cool, too, because I knew, like, you were way too far out there. And there was nothing that I could do to pull you back in. But we're Christians. So, very conveniently, I was like, Lord, you have to help him right now. Because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's you know.
And then you came back in. Everybody was in. I looked at everybody's hands.
It took me a long time.
Okay.
It took me literally.
Oh.
I wasn't right for about 2 months.
At minimum. I think it was longer than that.
And a lot of it, you know, like internal work was like, the Lord's like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And it's like that shoelace being untied, that score not being settled. Mm-hmm. Like,
yep.
I cannot deal with that.
Yep.
And that's something I really had to like.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah.
It kind of brings you back to certain decisions I made when I was younger, you know, obviously, and like that's a lot of what it was. It wasn't about being a gangster. It wasn't about being X, Y, and Z. It was funny because I was talking to one of my close friends on this channel. And she was like, "It's the injustice," and like I was able to kind of help because. And just because the situation wasn't the situation I was dealing with, it was still that untied shoelace. Like, you're just going to let that person get away with that shit, bro? Like, you know, and yep. I was not right for a while. And 2 months is damn near 60 days. You know what I'm saying?
It was longer than that, but yeah.
I mean, I was off for a while.
I would say it was at least a half a year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I had a very, very hard time. And a lot of it was just the fact that I couldn't, you know, there's nothing to settle with. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a problem apologizing to those people. I went back and apologized. I don't have a problem apologizing, but like.
Yeah, you had a good moment with one of those kids after.
I did. I mean, God turns it around like he always does.
Yeah.
The kid came up to me. He said, listen, I never grew up with a dad. So
yeah.
It was crazy to see a dad doing that for his son. And
that's sad.
Which is, you know, makes you feel even like
yeah,
God always does. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I was completely. But my point is, if you're like spinning out and things like that, don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up too much. If you're not, most of us overestimate ourselves. If you're not as far as you think you are, and you run into a situation, it's okay. Mm-hmm. You're a work in progress, just like your boy. Most of you are not going to fuck up as bad, especially in front of your kids, as I am. But don't go too hard on yourself. But what he's saying here in this song is whatever his issue is, it's more internalized and I think beneath the surface. Dreams break on the scant tide. Life's hopes are shorn. With many thoughts unborn. That's another line where I'm like, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing that's
dreams break on the scant tide.
With many thoughts unborn.
Yeah.
An unborn thought. Like that's
yeah.
This is a really like internalized song where he's really looking at himself and the limitations. I think what he's saying is the limitations of this reality as to what you can do.
Yep.
And the only way that he can really, that's why it says awful awakening torment of soul. Strafing the chains, only the dreams are free. Mm. So, and obviously, you know, I was talking to you about, they did this study on lucid dreamers.
Yeah.
And the people that they met in their dreamscape. This, I've got to look it up again, but this scientist was essentially saying that he was doing, it was another one of these peer-reviewed studies. I'm literally, remind me when we get our time tonight, I'm literally going to look this, because I actually wanted to listen to it with you because you're a lucid dreamer. But the guy was basically theorizing that the people that you meet in the dream, usually the running theory is, especially since Freud, that the people that you meet in your dream are just extensions of yourself. And it's extensions of your subconscious. So it's just you, but it's parts of you that you're suppressing. Your conscious mind is suppressing, and then your subconscious, they finally gets to go out. But what this guy was theorizing...
I always have a lot of bad characters in my dreams.
This guy's theorizing, no.
Oh, okay. What's the
What
other
he's
theory?
saying is, these are actual autonomous beings with their own will, mind, emotion, etc.
Okay, that's really, really creepy. And if that's true, that's like, well, I don't want to go to sleep.
Right. So that's the thing is he was
wow.
He was talking about that, and he was saying that the metaphysical world that you run into in a dream is a real world when you're dreaming it.
I mean, it is weird because, like, I'll go to the same places in my dreams. It's like a city. And I go to the same places, and you can basically find the same events going on in these certain places. Although sometimes I'll go to a place that's usually populated and where I can usually find certain friends, and they're not there. I hate it when that happens. It's almost like a ghost town. It's very creepy. Mm-hmm. So that's weird, too. Like, where did those beings go then if it's not... And that's just a really creepy thought to begin with.
Mm-hmm. That these are autonomous people and all the rest of it. Yeah. The study was... I realized, like, I got to ask Sori's opinion on this because, like, they had the things do math. They had these... they call them alters. They had them doing math, and I guess they're very good at multiplication, but they suck at addition and subtraction, like, across the board. It's very, very strange because, again, these are lucid dreamers. So... I don't know.
I can't lucid dream all the time. It comes in phases.
We'll have to look at it. I wanted to get your point.
Probably if I focus on it, though, I could probably lucid dream.
But like this guy, it seems like what he's complaining about in the song is, you know, when he talks about the fragments of light, is that he experiences that the untold parts of himself or another reality, depending if you're on Freud, it's untold parts of himself. If you're this guy, it's another reality in the dream world. But I have woken up from dreams and been severely disappointed that I was dreaming. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say tormented. I've never been tormented that was just a dream. But I have had such like deep and graphic dreams that were so freeing that when I woke up, I was massively disappointed. I've had those for sure. You've never had a dream like that?
Those are so few and far between.
Oh, I agree.
If
this guy is having those dreams like that
on the regular,
yeah. My ex's dog died recently. We raised it together from a pup. He died of old age. Myself, her mom, and her bro all have been visited by a doggo in our dreams. Independently, she comes back young and everything. Dreams are weird. Shout out to Zombie Holic. Most times in my dreams, I always die or I'm falling off a cliff. Then I wake up falling out of bed.
You're literally falling out of bed?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. My dog has come in. I had a dog that got hit by a car and we had to put him down. Vinny and I were just friends at the time. You were so nice to me that night. I thought it was such a big deal because you bought my husband and I supper. I thought that was just so crazy that you did that. Anyway, but yeah, the dog, I've seen the dog multiple times, and yeah, he's always young and healthy and happy, and he kind of gives me this feel in the dream like he came back to just for me, not for him. And usually dogs love to like be right up on your space and everything, and he was like that. But to me in the dream, it felt like he was like, I came back to let you know I'm good, but and there he goes again. Yeah.
Shout out to the homie. Shout out to Manny.
Shout out to Manny. I can't believe you remembered his name. Well, no, I can't believe it. You have a very good memory.
Yeah. But
do you notice he kept saying like only the dreams are free?
That's what I'm saying. Like he was living in like the dream world, and in the dream world he's more free. He's able to think clearer, whatever. Like I said, whether you take the traditional Freudian stance or this guy, I wish I was doing something else at the time, so I was like sort of half listening. I'll find it and we'll listen to it together because it was so fascinating.
Yeah, I'd rather not listen to it at 3 a.m. So
yeah,
because I want to be.
So lyrically, this song was way deeper, way deeper than the previous song. Even though the previous song was massively deep as well.
Yeah.
Metal Mark. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep
sleeping.
Holy shit, that's so funny. Go ahead.
Yeah, so sonically, I was not a fan of it. Lyrically, fascinating song. So I'll go with an 8.4.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a solid 8.8. The lyrical kind of back and forth really boosted my opinion of this song for sure. I really liked the lyrics, and inshallah I'll be able to find it. Maybe we'll listen to it on the drive, inshallah.
Well, we're supposed to be doing what's that, storyboarding for the business.
Oh, we could do both. Maybe the one will do another.
Yeah.
But okay.
Sounds good.
All right, there you are. Okay, so right now Greece is in front. Germany is. It's funny because this is winning, but the German one might spark like probably 4 months of discussion. Like literally, that's how it works.
Yep.
A lot of the places I've went to, it's funny because this is mostly an atheist group, so I think that's why like for the last 4 to 6 months I've been like heavy on scientists. I haven't read any theologians. It's been all scientists. Whatever. All right, there you are, dear listener. We're coming right back for you. Country number 3 is on the way. That is Russia. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.